We're here in the beautiful Malta, and we're here with Bobby Lee, the famous Bobby Lee. How are you doing?
Hi. Yes, I'm doing well. Thank you for having me. This is my first time in Malta. Very nice to be here on this blockchain conference.
All right. People perhaps know you from the BTCC exchange. You were one of the pioneers. How do you look back on that time?
Yeah, it's a great honor. It's a lot of fun. So BTCC started as BTC China and launched in 2011. I got involved early in 2013 as an investor and also to operate the company as CEO, co-founded the company, raised money. And we also then sold the company a few years later. We just sold it last year. So I ran it for 5 years. It's a lot of fun, very exciting. I think China was a great market to launch an exchange. Chinese people are savvy investors. They like trying new things and they like investing in asset classes, whether it's gold, real estate, stocks, foreign currencies, and now cryptocurrencies like Bitcoin and other tokens.
You still see lots of Chinese money flowing in. Huh?
Absolutely, absolutely. I think Chinese people, unlike in other cultures, they don't spend all their paycheck. Their salary, what they earn, they actually try very hard to save a portion of it. So there's a lot of savings in the Chinese system, in the society. And people would invest that in different asset classes for growth, for preservation of value. So that's why gold is very popular, even foreign currencies, and of course Bitcoin and cryptocurrency is very, very popular. I think it's a cultural thing, and it's not just China. You know, India, Japan, Korea, there's a lot of that in all of Asia.
All right, all right. And then, of course, you have people are using actually stablecoins to invest into Bitcoin because officially it's not allowed. I mean.
Yeah. So, of course, the most popular stablecoin, the most successful so far, is the USD Tether. I think that's a USD stablecoin, but I think down the road we'll see other stablecoins in other currencies, whether it's euros, even renminbi, even other currencies, major currencies. I hope to see that. Yeah.
Would that be possible? A stablecoin renminbi?
I don't know. It depends. I certainly wouldn't try it. There's a lot of risk in doing it inside China. So the question is, will there be a company that launches it outside of China? Chinese government probably won't allow it unless it's a sanctioned project by the state government. I think it's very possible for down the road for government, central banks, or at least government level stuff to sort of endorse or sponsor or initiate a stablecoin project. I think that's quite possible. Today, stablecoins are all launched by private companies, but it's very possible down the road stablecoins could be launched by government entities.
All right. Just a step back, how did it actually work to launch an exchange in China, or was it Hong Kong? I mean,
it was China. It was China.
Okay.
BTC China was launched inside China. We had our office in Shanghai.
Okay.
Yeah, since
how
2013.
Did sorry, how did the government react? The regulators?
Initially, in the early years, there's nothing specific about it. You know, trading digital currencies is trading of information. So, in the early days, we didn't think it was a licensed activity. It wasn't until 2017 that the regulators told us that for the setup of a trading platform, that changes fiat money, renminbi, into cryptocurrencies or vice versa, that would require an exchange license. They clarified that for us in the summer of 2017. And after that clarification, we were encouraged to comply with that, and we decided to voluntarily shut down the Chinese side of the exchange.
Okay, right. If we look at first start with Bitcoin, I mean, why are you so excited about this technology? I mean,
yeah, I'm very excited about Bitcoin. I think it's not just a technology, it's really a new invention. The notion that we now have a global platform, a decentralized, permissionless global ledger that is immutable, that is digital, that allows people all over the world to have and store value on the internet and move it around and send it to other people instantaneously. I think that's tremendous. Right? Think of it as a locker box that has 21 million lockers, and you could put valuable things in it, and you could give the key to someone else. And you know, it has $1,000 or $8,000 in this locker, and here's the key. And I could give you the key electronically without knowing who you are. You don't have to know who I am. We don't have to trust each other, and we could say, we'll move the contents of this locker over to you so that you can have a private key to it. That's what it is. Essentially, the blockchain is the ledger that tracks the movement of who has the keys to all these 21 million units on the internet.
So you think it will be a store of value, or can it also be like a currency? I mean,
it is both. It's both. In my view, it's not either or. Anything that has a store of value potential has to have the ability to transfer. Right? If I can't give it to you, then it's not valuable to me.
Okay.
Because then it's just like a memory. Like my memory is valuable to me, but I cannot give it to you. So it doesn't have market value. Right? What I remember from my childhood, what you remember from your childhood, it's valuable to me and you respectively, but it's not transferable.
Yeah.
So that is not a store of value. But a true store of value is transferable. And likewise, if it can be transferred, if it's scarce and limited quantity, it can be a store of value.
Right. So we gonna pay coffee and beers with
cryptocurrencies, yeah. Either stablecoins or bitcoins or other cryptocurrencies, definitely. But even paying for coffee and beer in stablecoins, I think that's legitimate. The notion that I'm paying on chain using a digital ledger, so that it has finality and so on and so forth.
How do you see diving into the stablecoins? I mean, for instance, Facebook, also big banks like JP Morgan are fetching this technology, trying to test it.
Yeah, so Facebook, JP Morgan, I don't think they're launching stablecoins. I think they're launching their own tokens. So for tokens, I'm less crazy about. I think tokens is a fool's errand. I think it's no different than any company issuing physical tokens. Gaming arcades issue their tokens. So to me, that's not as exciting. To me, digital money is much more exciting of a technology than tokens, than sort of the companies backing it. Hotel reward, like we're next to the Hilton. Hilton has the Hilton Honors points. So I don't care if that's a virtual point in their system or if it becomes a token that's freely exchangeable. To me, ultimately, the value of that is based on Hilton. So it's not about whether it's in physical form or whether it's in token form or whether it's in digital virtual form.
So the value is more in the protocol layers instead of...
Not even the protocol layer. I think if Hilton has their Hilton reward points, called Hilton Honors, the value is in the company backing it, the Hilton Hotel Corporation itself, and not in the form of it, whether it's digital token versus the current virtual point system.
Okay, so in that sense, what do you think of security tokens? I mean, that has a backed value.
It's a backed value. I'm not too excited about that either. I think security tokens are much like the stock market, to like paper stock certificates. So ownership of companies is called equity. Equity has evolved from paper share certificates, from bearer instruments, bearer bonds to paper share certificates, to registered electronic shares, to now what we call security tokens. It's digital tokens that represent security in a company. But the problem is the regulation has not allowed it to be true security. So meaning that I cannot convert my Apple shares from the US stock exchange into security tokens, Apple's STOs. So it's not convertible. I cannot take it out. And even if I had invested in a company of issuing STOs, my STOs in that company are not true equity ownership. Right? A lot of time they only do profit sharing. They don't have voting rights. They don't have dividend rights. They don't have earnings rights. So I think it's a sham. I think it's too bad.
Okay. Yeah. A few questions about Bitcoin. If you look at the market, you see you're from the exchange business. You still see a lot of manipulation. We've seen a flash crash last week on Bitstamp. What do you think of those occurrences?
I think occurrences like that are normal. I don't think it's manipulation. I think the word manipulation is subjective. Right? If you're doing something, if I like it, I call it action. If I don't like it, I'll call it manipulation. Right? You are holding this microphone in front of me, and you're letting me speak to it, and then when I'm done, you go like this, and then you come back to me. But if I'm trying to speak and you take it away, I'm trying to speak, I'm trying to speak and you take it away.
Manipulation.
I think you're manipulating the microphone, right? Yeah. And you don't think so, but I think you're manipulating the microphone. So my point is subjective. So when the price comes down, legitimate traders want to sell, and it happens they all want to sell at the same time. The price comes down. That is not manipulation necessarily. I don't know the details. I'm not a stock market regulator, but my point is, if you want to move this microphone just because you want to say something, you might have good intentions, Who am I to say that you're manipulating the microphone?
Yeah. Okay, fair point.
Again, I'm not. Yeah. I'm not. Just to be clear, I'm not. I do agree that exchanges, I think eventually will all be regulated. Regulators will come in and decide what is manipulation. My point is, experts will decide what is considered manipulation. They have the right to set rules because they're the lawmakers, they're the regulators. Yeah. But today, in absence of regulators declaring what is manipulation, what is not manipulation, it's all just people's opinions. Okay. That's my point. So I'm not. Certainly, I don't want to see big players, traders, manipulate or change the market dynamics to take advantage of small traders. I think that's too bad. But at the same time, there's nothing I can do about it. So true. That's how life is.
If we look at the regulators, they're getting Bitfinex, they're investigating Bitfinex and also Tether. You've seen, I mean, Binance is here. They're in different regulatory sandbox than other exchanges. So how do you see those exchanges moving? I mean, if more regulation comes in, perhaps some of these exchanges will get a hard time. I mean,
yeah. What's your question? The question that.
So what do you think of more regulation on exchanges, and do you think exchanges are like a weak spot in the system? Central exchanges.
I don't think they're a weak spot. I think exchanges are a necessary part of the ecosystem because the world today still has a lot of value and money in traditional fiat currencies. So until we solve the problem where the whole world is in digital money, as long as we have value in digital and crypto, as long as we have value in fiat money and crypto money, there's always a need, a bridge to cross that to allow the value to go back and forth. That's the purpose of an exchange, to allow people to go on board and off board, on-ramp, off-ramp of the crypto to fiat. So exchanges will be here with us for the foreseeable future. And each exchange will be in the jurisdiction of its country. So every jurisdiction, every region, every country will have their own set of exchanges that compete with each other that are regulated by that jurisdiction. So that's my prediction. There's nothing wrong with that, yeah.
Right. Just two questions. More institutional money is coming in, Fidelity, Bucked. What will be the effect of this? Will it be like a gradual growth of the Bitcoin price, or
price? It won't be it will be gradual in the long scale, but in the short term it will be very, very jerky. So today Bitcoin is 8,000. Just a month ago it was at 3,000, 4,000. Yeah. So it's gone up 100% in just a month. Yeah. Right. So that's pretty high volatility. And then when it reaches the last high, it was at $20,000 US. When it reaches that, it's going to go up more. It'll go up to $50,000, $100,000.
You think so?
Absolutely. It could happen within 2 years.
Because of scarcity and.
Oh, absolutely. I think by end of 2021. Within 2.5 years from now, by December 2021, I think for sure we'll go past the last high, for sure.
Oh, okay.
I think
so over the 20,000.
Not just that. It'll go at least 5 times, probably at least 100,000.
Oh, you think so?
I think so. That's my personal opinion. Don't take this as investment advice, but as my sort of experience. I think it could easily go past 100,000. Yeah.
So, and what will happen next? Will people just store that as a value, or are they gonna sell it, or will there be a flash crash?
Some people will store, some people will sell it. But think about it. The definition of it peaking, the next peak at 100,000, the definition is it'll go to 100,000. It might come back down to 40,000. It might lose 60% of its value. Yeah. Within a month.
It can.
It can. But the new 40,000 will be twice as high as the last high, which is 20,000. Yeah. Okay. So from 100 down to 40 is like, oh my gosh, it lost $60,000 in value, 60%. But
okay, last question. Yeah. What are your picks in the markets? So what are actually the top 3 coins you're looking for, or you're investing in?
So I'm not actively investing in new coins, but I can tell you my holdings are Bitcoin. And when I speak of Bitcoin, I say all of Bitcoin. So Bitcoin, Bitcoin Cash, so BTC, BCH, as well as Bitcoin SV. I still hold on to my Bitcoin. And of course, I hold on to Litecoin, and I hold on to some Ethereum as well.
Well, last question. What do you think of Litecoin? Of course, your brother is the founder of it,
yes,
Charlie.
Yes, creator.
What do you think of, because some people say what's actually the use? It sounds a bit negative, but what's actually the utility of Litecoin if we have Bitcoin?
Yeah, that's great. That's a great question. I just have some Litecoin because my brother created it, so I just have it just for pleasure of having some Litecoin. Yeah. I'm still a bigger believer in Bitcoin itself. I think Bitcoin is the global sort of reserve currency. I think reserve asset, global reserve asset. Well, I don't know whether Litecoin will ever have greater use, but we'll see. You know, whether Litecoin has payments or Bitcoin Lightning has payments, we'll see. I'm open-minded. There's also Bitcoin Cash has payments, so I'm very open-minded. I think we're still very young. We're in the 11th year of Bitcoin, and you know, at least 10 more years to see where things are at.
And do you sometimes have discussions with Charlie about where it's going to, or?
Yeah. But it's all the same. Yeah.
All right. Thank you very much for your time, and all the best here in Malta and with all the ventures you're going to. Well, actually, what's the plan? What's your next plan? Actually, your next venture.
I might. I have to look at my schedule. I might go to the conference in Crypto Valley in Zug in late June. So I'm still trying to plan that.
And business-wise, actually, what's your next step?
My next move. Okay, so so I sold the company. I'm thinking of doing something new. I haven't announced it yet. So maybe in a few months, when I make some progress, I'll announce it. Okay, yeah.
Stay tuned. Okay, thank you very much.
Great. Thank you, Russell.
Yes.